What's going on, everyone? Thomas Jordan here at LAX. Normally you see me on the red carpet doing my interviews, but today we have an awesome guest. She's coming all the way from Vancouver to Australia, back to Vancouver, maybe to New York, but she's stopping by in LA. World-renowned tattoo artist and reality TV show star, Giorgia Mae. Did I get everything like that?
Yeah, I guess. I wouldn't give myself some of those titles, but okay.
No, like, how did you become a tattoo artist?
I became a tattoo artist. I was kind of like a university dropout, I guess. I did animation, and I kind of figured I didn't really want to be on that side of the film industry, I guess, or maybe not even in the film industry at all, and I kind of just wanted to be an artist. So tattooing was kind of the best possible road I could go down for what I wanted to do, kind of what I wanted to achieve, I guess.
Gotcha. And when did you have like your aha moment? Because a lot of people, I don't know, did you have one of those where you were at your current job, you said you worked in graphic design or whatever, and then it's like, I really don't want to do this anymore?
I was studying, I guess I was doing like animation, graphic design, that kind of thing, and I just kind of got, I just kind of realized it was just going to be a lot of doing stuff for other people for a very, very long time before I could kind of do something for myself. And I didn't really want a job that like locked me in a basement, for like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. It was just a bit, tattooing is just like, you can be an artist, you can earn great money, and you can have absolute freedom.
What are the actual steps though for becoming a tattoo artist? Because I feel like it's like, okay, you know how to draw. It's like, do you just start walking into shops saying like, what do I do? Did you Google it? Like, how did you figure out what you needed to do?
It's kind of like the best possible way is to like ask other tattoo artists. So I had a friend who was a tattoo artist, and I kind of didn't really have like, I guess I was lacking the confidence. I was kind of like, you watch those shows and you think that people draw sleeves up in like 10 minutes and you're like, oh my God, I'd never be able to do that. I'm not good enough. So, but he gave me obviously a better window into the industry and like, made me realize kind of what really goes on. And he definitely encouraged me. He looked at my art and he encouraged me to go for it. And with that boost of confidence, I kind of put a portfolio together of everything that I had, and I went in and I got lucky. I actually got an apprenticeship at the first shop I went into because I knew they were looking for an apprentice. So I did a 2-week trial based off my art, and then stayed and got the apprenticeship, and it was really good.
And what did you do in that 2-week trial period? Like, what did they have you do?
Just like common sense stuff, like learn how to set up, learn how to scrub tubes, like all of the stuff that you have to do when you're an apprentice, the unpaid, real crap stuff, cleaning, setting up, breaking down stations, learning how to be like the most sterile person on earth, just stuff like that, making stencils. Back when we used to have to hand draw everything, so now we have stencil machines, but we didn't before.
So now, do you said do you still stencil, or do a lot of people stay doing that, or do they use the machine and you kind of spoil yourself a little bit?
Oh my God, yeah, there's no, only crazy people are hand drawing stencils. It's crazy. They're so time consuming. You've already drawn it, so it's all there, and the stencil machine reads the black ink, so you just pop it through and it all comes out, and it's like, it goes from being like a half-hour job to like a 5-minute job. It's great. I wouldn't be able to live without it.
And I know you I feel like, I don't want to say you lucked out, but yeah, you got to go in, you got an apprenticeship, your first shot in your first shop.
Oh, I definitely got lucky.
For people who are that's not the case, like should they just literally get their book together and then just like hop from shop to shop, or like, and to follow up with that, like where did they find mentors and things like that?
The best thing people can do is to not buy a machine off the internet and start tattooing their friends at home with absolutely no like knowledge at all. So do not do that. That is my number one like best piece of advice I can give to people who are like wanting to be a tattoo artist. Definitely don't do that. Definitely have a really good portfolio. Have like 50 drawings that you've like made massive efforts in. Like, who cares how long it takes you to get it together, because it'll really show through your work if you care enough to create, you know, a portfolio that's worth showing, I guess. Go to the shops, and if you get denied, ask why and ask what you can do better. That's kind of what I did throughout my apprenticeship. I was always after constructive criticism, and I never got upset or like butthurt about, you know, someone being like, this looks like shit and this is why. It's like, well, thanks for telling me why, because otherwise I'm just gonna do another one that looks like shit, you know? So it's important. It's really important to be able to handle constructive criticism. If you can't take it, you will never make it in this industry, ever. It's ruthless.
And as far as the competition goes, we were kind of talking a little bit how the competition in Australia is really high.
Australia is really competitive. There are so many awesome tattoo artists there, so you always have to be at the top of your game, otherwise you'll just like kind of fall down the ladder a bit. And then I guess New York is my next stop, you know, I guess indefinitely, and I am looking forward to, I guess, that kind of stress and that like rat race kind of feeling that I had back in Australia, definitely.
Gotcha. And what was the first tattoo you ever drew, and was it good or was it absolutely terrible?
Oh my god, it was probably terrible. Like, I can't even remember what the first, it was probably like a rose. I feel like everyone always draws a rose as like their first attempt to draw a tattoo. But yeah, it was probably crap. Like, you know, I was like, oh, I can draw, but drawing tattoos is like a whole different ball game. It's like learning, it's like being born again and then having to like relearn everything. So
did you ever have that point where it was like, okay, I think I got the drawing part down, but then like you get to the tattoo gun and it's just like you're starting over? Or like, what was it like for your first tattoo? Like, ink to skin, and it's like, okay, you hear the machines, everything's going, it's like,
My first tattoo sucked, and it was on my mentor Dane, and I was so scared. Like, I was so terrified that I was just like shaking. Like, I just had like no confidence. I just couldn't do it. And he was just like looking at me, like I was tattooing, like he's so covered. I was tattooing this like one tiny little space that was open on his leg, and he's just looking down at me like, you fucking idiot. Like, you loser. Like, how long have you been an apprentice for? Like, and I just, some people just, they get it, like they can just use a machine, and then some people it takes longer, and I was one of those people that I was just like, it definitely took me longer to like get that confidence and being able to use a machine. Now it's like, you know, second nature, but it takes a little while.
And how many tattoos did you have to do to like build that confidence where it's like, okay, I get it now, like, and then it just builds from there?
Honestly, it depends on what machine you're using. I switched back and forth from rotaries to coils, back to rotaries, back to coils. I couldn't seem to make up my mind. But I ended up getting, kind of by accident, getting a couple of new machines this year that I kind of, when I was tattooing, I was just like, yeah, this is it. Like, I just know, I'm like, everything's very consistent now. I mean, I've only been tattooing full time for about 3 years now, so I feel like the first couple of years you're still finding your feet.
Yeah.
And now this third year, it's been like, I can definitely, if someone comes in, you know, they want something, I know exactly what, I can just picture it in my mind. I know exactly how it's gonna go. I don't have any qualms. I don't worry anymore, you know, about, oh, what if they have bad skin? I'm like, I just know how to get over these obstacles that you take a little while to learn.
Now, what was one of the biggest obstacles you learned this year, and what have you learned from it?
The biggest obstacles? I guess maybe being like a little less harsh in my consultations.
Yeah.
I feel like people back home, like, really, you can just say anything to them and they're just cool about it, you know? I'm like, that idea sucks, let's do this, and they're like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know if it's an Australian thing, I think it might be, people have really thick skin back home, and I kind of brought the same kind of attitude, well, it's just what I'm like.
Yeah.
And then, you know, to Vancouver, and I found a lot of people, I guess, getting like,
No, you're good.
I guess getting like kind of maybe a bit like, oh, okay, like I'm like, oh, that idea sucks, and they'd be like, oh, like a little bit like devastated. And I'm like, oh no, but no, but like, and then trying to like kind of back my way out around that, and so I've definitely learned to be not as straight to the point and blunt. Kind of dance my way around things, I feel like. But I feel like people in New York will probably be pretty blunt, so I think I'll be okay there, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like you need to like just kind of read the person maybe, and it's like, oh, maybe they're sarcastic, because you could tell like if somebody,
yeah,
like just even by talking to me, you could tell like if I was getting one, you just say whatever you wanted. But
yeah.
So self-awareness, that's good. But what would you say your style? What would you say your style is?
My style?
Yeah.
My style is.
What do you say that? What do you specialize in?
So I specialize in neo-traditional. It's what I've always wanted to. I kind of went into the industry intending to specialize in that, and I do. So I guess neo-traditional, it's so broad and covers so many kind of different like sub-styles in that kind of, you know, genre, I guess. It's hard to describe, and I feel like you can only other tattoo artists really know what you're talking about. So when people ask me, I'm always like, oh, like here is a photo, because I can't, it's hard to, I use all these words that people don't understand, you know, if you're not a tattoo artist or not familiar with the industry, it's hard to describe.
Let's talk about like Bondi Ink. Like it's a huge Netflix series, like it's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, you're in it. Like how did you get casted for that?
I got cast, it's hard. It's a weird story. Like I met the producers, I guess, when I was an apprentice up on the Gold Coast, and they were, you know, saying that they were filming that show, and then obviously I didn't think much of it because I lived on the Gold Coast and Sydney is 12 hours away, and I didn't really think anything of it. And then they kind of kept in contact with me, and then they brought Mike over from New York Ink. He was managing there, and then it kind of just happened like that. They just asked me if I wanted to, you know, be involved, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, like it, you know, I was like, yep, all right, why not, you know, like it's a competitive industry, and if you can get some exposure, you have to kind of take those opportunities and make smart decisions.
Yeah, and what was it like having your life filmed? Like I've always wondered that, because secretly I love reality TV shows. Like I love to hate them, but just having a camera in your face, not in your case, not 24 hours, but a chunk of your day.
Yeah.
Like what's that like?
At first, it was so weird, and I couldn't cope. Like it was bizarre. It's really strange. You know, I've never even had someone film a video of me on their phone, let alone, you know, have someone constantly in your face and then zooming right up into your tattoos, and you know, it's stressful. But you get over it so quickly. Like within like 10 days, you just don't even notice it anymore, and it just becomes like part of your life, and you just go about your business, and yeah, and it's weird. And people always say that, they're like, oh, you just forget that they're there, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's a load of shit, but it's true. You really do just forget that they're there, and then you kind of just go about your life and go about working and, you know, tattooing and doing all that kind of stuff.
And being on the show, like how has it changed? Like has it changed your career at all?
When it hit Netflix, I guess I didn't even realize that it hit, and I started getting recognized all the time, and I was like, what is happening? Like it was really strange. And then Ellie kind of messaged me, and she's like, yeah, it's on Netflix. Like I'm like, what? But it's like on every single country except for like Australia. So I was like, oh good, I can go home and like it's all sweet. But it's been really good. Like, you know, it's given me the opportunity to be able to work in the States. It's given me the opportunity to be able to always be booked and to really kind of pursue my work. You know, that's kind of the purpose of why I did it in the first place. So it's been great. Like I've been really happy. Yeah, I'm really happy I did it. No regrets, I guess.
You get to work with Megan Masker, she's a great tattoo artist. She was on New York Ink. Great personality, great artwork. What was it like working with her?
Megan's such a legend. She's really, really nice. She's kind of one of those people that'll do anything for you, really helpful, like just really great. Working with her was awesome. I got to watch her really close up, tattooing and stuff like that, and it was just like such a cool experience. She's tattoos such a different style from everyone I've ever worked with, so I loved being able to like broaden my horizons in that way as well. And then obviously making a friend out of it was great too. Like she's just a champ.
When you were on the show, you were obviously watching her very closely. What was one of the main things you took away from watching her every move?
What's one of the things I took away? She's, I guess, other than being able to just learn and pick up little, you know, bips and bops from her watching her tattoo, I guess like her professionalism was really great. Like she's super professional. She's just like got her head screwed on. She just knows what she's doing. And she's been tattooing for 10 years. So, you know, it's like effortless. Like her tattooing seems to be just like, it's like whatever, like I've got this. And it's like, and I'm just like crying, like putting a stencil on. I'm like so stressed as an apprentice. It was just the worst. But yeah, she's great.
And what would you say the biggest difference? I mean, you're all over the place, Australia, New York, Vancouver, LA, like I feel like you're everywhere. What do you think is different about New York than anywhere else that you've been so far?
New York's like its own special little country or something. It's just so cool there. Like it's just got so much culture and it's got a really good vibe, and everyone that I've met is like really kind of rude but in the best kind of way, like really straight to the point. I like really love that. Like I hate phonies and stuff, so I just, yeah, everyone that I've met is just really cool. Everyone takes the piss out of me all the time and I love that. So yeah, it's cool, and like obviously it's New York, like it's amazing there. You have to go.
I know. We were talking off camera. I've been to China, but I've never been to New York.
Yeah, that seems weird.
Which is super weird.
Yeah.
And when I tell people that, they're like, "Wait, what?" But I know you've got to get going. So if you had to get, if we ran into one of your fans and they're like, "I want to be a tattoo artist," what is the one piece of advice you would give them?
I would definitely tell them to think long and hard about it, because you really are giving up your whole life to be a tattoo artist. All your social life, your relationships, your free time, sleep, everything is going to go down the drain for at least 4 years when you start up. So, and like forever, I guess, you know, it's a full-time job, but it's not only a full-time job, it's also a full-time life job that you are constantly doing. So the advice I would give is like, make sure it's what you really, really want to do.
And to kind of follow that, is there any like misconceptions about a tattoo artist that people may think that aren't true? Or I don't know, I'm not one, so.
People think that it's really easy to become a tattoo artist, and they just want to, like, they just think, oh, it's cool, like no one will give me an apprenticeship, so I can just like buy a machine off online and like tattoo my friends at home and it'll be fine. It's not going to be fine. It's not fine. And you'll never get anywhere doing it that way. So, yeah, I've noticed recently, me and a bunch of other female tattoo artists were actually like having a chat about this. We have a little group, and we were talking about how it's like people just think it's like so easy just to become a tattoo artist, and it's like they have no idea, like completely misinformed. So that's kind of, I guess, my little spiel about it. Awesome. I'd say.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much.
No worries.